Okay, Fundaciones de Español, Lección Uno. So this is just a class demonstration, so you can kind of get the feel for what we do here at the language school, and this is exactly out of our very first lesson that we do here. So in today's lesson, I am going to teach you how to introduce yourself in Spanish. So we're going to learn how to make a formal introduction. Kind of my thought process with doing this is that in order to learn how to speak Spanish, you have to speak Spanish. And so that's going to directly mean introducing yourself to new people. So for like the first 3 or 4 lessons, I do a big emphasis on just teaching this introduction so that you can internalize that. So the next time you're at the grocery store, you're out at a restaurant, or you happen to get on a plane and travel to a Spanish-speaking country, when you're hearing Spanish, you're just going to naturally start trying to introduce yourself to people. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to learn our basic greetings in Spanish. I'm also going to teach you the culture behind greeting. I'm a really big fan on not only teaching the language, but also teaching the culture. You do need to learn how to speak Spanish, but you also need to learn what the cultural norms and traditions are in order to be successful with talking to people and making new friends with people. I've got a conversation tip all about cognates. Spanish and English actually share a lot in common. So I think out of all of the languages that are out there, Spanish has got to be one of the easier languages to learn. Not to say that it's going to be a super easy process. It does take time and dedication. But if you want to, you're going to definitely learn how to speak Spanish. I also go over the vowels today to teach you the proper way to speak Spanish in terms of pronunciation. And we've got vocabulary that you can use at both work and at school. This is open conversation, so anybody feel free to chime in and ask a question at any point in time today, okay? Just to start off, les cuento un poco de mi experiencia profesional. So I'll tell you a little bit about my professional experience. Soy maestro de español desde el 2005. So I've actually been teaching Spanish since 2005. Soy el fundador de the language school. I am the founder of the language school. The language school, I'm not sure where everybody's located. We're going to go over that in today's questions. But we are located in Denver, Colorado. And we do have, according to Google, the best reviews out of all the languages schools here in Denver, Colorado. We've got over 100 5-star reviews. Our students love studying with us because we really get our students speaking Spanish quickly. Yo estudié, so that means I studied at Eckerd College. It's a private liberal arts school in Florida. I graduated in 2007, where I received 3 degrees in international business, Spanish, and marketing. Y tú? So y tú means and you, okay? So we'll just go around, and Tuesday, what do you do for work?
I'm a registered nurse. So I'm actually a director of nursing for a long-term care facility.
Oh, wow, great. Nice, nice. Okay, so I want to now share a whiteboard up here with you. So everybody should be able to see my whiteboard. So to say that in Spanish, you could say, soy enfermera. Okay? So can you repeat that, Tuesday? Soy enfermera.
Soy enfermera.
Muy bien. So that means I'm a nurse. Okay? Angela, ¿y tú? So what do you do for work?
I am a full-time Lyft driver.
Okay. So here, you could say, soy chofer para Lyft. Okay?
Nice.
Soy chofer para Lyft. Cool. I actually drive part-time for Lyft sometimes too.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's a great, I do it just to kind of get out of the house. I really like the social aspect, getting out of the house and driving around and talking to people, but it's great. Okay, let's see here. Next, I have, I'm not sure, is it Shirag?
Right, sí, soy abogado, I'm a lawyer.
Okay, yeah. So soy, you already know it. So you already speak a little Spanish, it sounds like. Soy abogado. Am I pronouncing your name right? Shirag?
Chirag, sí.
Shirag? Okay, good. Let's see here. Next we have Chris Bryant. Can you hear me?
Yes, got joined late.
That's okay. Thanks for joining us. Bienvenido. Chris, what do you do for work? Chris, can you hear me?
He's muted.
Yeah, I think you're on mute, Chris. I'm not sure what happened, but if you could unmute yourself. We'll come back to you in a second, I guess. Jacqueline, what
Can
do
you hear me now? Because it's echoing.
Yeah, it's echoing. Yeah, it's echoing.
Yeah, maybe Chris, you can try and log out and log back in.
Okay.
All right. Jacqueline, what do you do for work?
I'm an executive secretary at DPS.
Oh, fantastic. Nice.
Mhm.
So here you can say soy secretaria. Okay? Soy secretaria. Can you say that?
Yep, soy secretaria.
Muy bien, muy bien. Let's see here. I have somebody named T. Ada. Can you hear me? Okay. T. Ada, if you can hear me, I'm not sure what your real name is, but I guess I'll come back to you in a second. Okay, good. So for everybody that's here, I don't know if you have a little notepad with you, but if you just want to take a moment to write down the notes that I'm putting up here for you. And now I'm going to go back over to my presentation, okay? Okay. So just before I jump into today's lesson, I want everybody just to feel comfortable with me. It's okay to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes.
Okay.
Learning how to speak your second language is not a whole lot different than learning how to speak your first language. The problem is now we're adults, and so we don't remember what it was like to learn our first language. I've got a 4-year-old son, and so I've just been fascinated with seeing him learn how to speak his first language, being a Spanish instructor. But it's all about just trying to repeat what you're hearing, making mistakes, getting corrected, and eventually you get it right. So I want everybody to try and talk today. If you're making mistakes, it's going to help me know what to teach you and what to focus on. Every single person's just a little bit different in terms of the language acquisition process. So I really like to see the effort. Everybody's here for the same reason. We're all here starting out. And you know, we all want to learn how to speak Spanish. So I always try and create a really professional environment in my classes, an environment of respect and nurturing and support. So I don't allow people to make fun of people. Sometimes I hear that coming from other programs where, like, my first college class at CU Boulder had over 50 students in it. And like, it was just very nerve-wracking trying to speak your second language in front of 50 students. And there's always the guys in the back that are kind of laughing and making fun of you. So I don't allow that with my program. So everybody should feel comfortable. And questions are good. Ask all the questions that you have. Okay. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. So this is just our basic introduction in Spanish. So we have a little conversation between Mark Anthony and Shakira. Hola, Mark. Hola, Shakira. ¿Cómo estás? Estoy bien. So, hola, I'm sure everybody already knows that just means hi or hello. ¿Cómo estás means how are you? And then estoy bien means I am well. Okay? So everybody repeat after me. Hola.
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 ¿Cómo estás?
¿Cómo estás?
Estoy bien.
Estoy bien.
Perfecto. All right, so now I'm going to put you in partners. Tuesday, I want you to greet Angela. And so you'll just say, hola, Angela, ¿cómo estás? And then Angela will answer, estoy bien. Okay? Go ahead.
Okay. Hola, Angela. ¿Cómo estás?
Estoy bien, Tuesday.
Bien. Now, Angela to Shirag.
Hola, Sherrod. ¿Cómo estás?
Estoy bien.
Bien. Shirag to Jacqueline.
Hola, Jacqueline. ¿Cómo estás?
Hola. What was it, Sharad?
Sí.
See? Hola, Sharad. ¿Cómo está? Oh,
Bien.
no, estoy bien.
Muy bien, Jacqueline. Okay.
Just remembered I'm answering you and I was reading down the thing there.
All right. Nice job, Jacqueline. Okay, so now, Chris, are you with us now?
I believe so.
Okay, no echo. I got you loud and clear now. Perfect. Okay, so now Jacqueline, greet Chris.
Hola, Chris. ¿Cómo está?
Hola, Jacqueline. ¿Cómo estás?
So you want to answer the question, Chris, and say, estoy bien.
Oh, estoy bien.
All right, good. All right. Tiara, are you with us now?
Yeah,
Okay, good. What is your name?
Tori.
Tori?
Mm-hmm.
Tori. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I wasn't sure because it's showing up here on my screen was just like ta-da. Okay.
Yeah.
Tori. Okay, so Chris, how about you greet Tori, please?
Hola, Tori. ¿Cómo estás?
Estoy bien.
Muy bien. Okay. And now, Tori, you can say it to me.
Okay. Hola, ¿cómo está?
Estoy bien. Muy bien. And my name is David, by the way. David el Profe. Okay, perfect. So this is just the basic, verbal way to greet people in Spanish. To jump into the culture a little bit, the way people greet people in Spanish-speaking countries is going to be just a little bit different. In most Spanish-speaking countries, in informal situations, so when you're thinking about when you say hi to a friend or a family member, somebody that you have some familiarity with, it's normally done with just a little kiss on the cheek, un besito, okay? This can happen between men and women, and there's a handful of countries in Latin America where the men also kiss each other on the cheek. I lived in Argentina for a year, and it was uncomfortable initially, but I really wanted to be successful. So when I made really good friends with people, I adapted to that new cultural custom. In more formal situations, so thinking about like a business meeting, if you're going in for a job interview, and depending on the situation, like if a friend is introducing you to a friend of theirs, you might do it with a handshake, un apretón de manos, okay? This will change just a little bit from one country to another. Some countries are a little bit more touchy-feely, some are a little bit more reserved. So my advice to you here is if you're planning a trip to a Spanish-speaking country, you can always just get on Google and type in, some like the cultural greeting tradition so you know what to expect when you go travel to that new country. Muy bien, vamos a practicar la pronunciación. So let's practice the pronunciation in Spanish. One thing that I just absolutely love about Spanish is it's a phonetic language, meaning that the vowel sounds are pretty much always going to be pronounced the same way. To put that into perspective, the letter A in English can produce I think around 10 unique sounds. In Spanish, we've got one sound, okay? So everybody repeat after me. Repitan. A.
Ah.
E.
A.
I.
E.
O.
Oh.
O.
U.
U.
Muy bien. So, vamos a seguir practicando. Repiten. A.
Ah.
Ah.
Okay, repiten. Nada.
Nada.
Mapa.
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 Hasta.
Hasta.
Papa.
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 Papá.
Papa.
Papa.
Mamá.
Mama.
Muy bien. Nice. I'm hearing really good pronunciation from everybody. Just a little bit more about the pronunciation rules here. In Spanish, the second to last syllable is going to be the one that gets emphasized in 99% of the words that are out there. If you see this little accent mark, that little slash that's over the A in papa and mama, that's going to indicate that you have to shift your pronunciation or shift your emphasis a little bit. So I just want you to listen to the difference here between papa, 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 papa. Can everybody hear that difference?
Yeah.
Good. Hola, Rhonda. Good to see you. Okay.
Buenos días.
Let's see here. So this does matter because these are two unique words in the Spanish language. Papa means potato and papa means dad. So I always tell my students, you don't want to accidentally call your dad a potato. Okay. Repiten.
A.
Me.
Es.
Ace.
Bebe.
Pepe.
Bebe.
Este.
Este.
Tele.
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 Leche.
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 Y.
E.
Fin.
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 Civil.
Civi.
Civil.
Tímido.
Timido.
Timido.
Italiano.
Italiano.
Biblia.
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 Difícil.
Difícil.
Muy bien. I've got a new person joining us. Okay. O.
Oh.
Loco.
Loco.
Poco.
Poco.
Como.
Como.
Ocho.
Ocho.
Coco.
Coco.
Todo.
Toro.
Todo.
Muy bien. U.
U.
Tú.
Tu.
Club.
Blue.
Anuncio.
Anuncio.
Anuncio. Mucho.
Mucho.
Música.
Música.
Cultura.
Cultura.
Okay, fantastic. We're off to a great start. So obviously it's going to take a lot more practice, but that's basically Spanish pronunciation in a nutshell for you. Okay, now we're going to get into a formal way to introduce yourself to someone, okay? So to say, what is your name in Spanish, you would say, ¿Cómo te llamas? Everybody repeat, ¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
Good. To answer that, to say my name is, you answer back and say me llamo, and then followed by whatever your first name is. So I would say me llamo David. Okay? Everybody repeat. Me llamo.
Me llamo.
Perfecto. All right. Now everybody repeat. Mucho gusto.
Mucho
Mucho
gusto.
gusto.
Mucho gusto is like saying nice to meet you. It's nice to meet you. Okay? And a good way to respond to that would be to say likewise. Igualmente.
Igualmente.
Okay, muy bien.
Igualmente.
Right, so let's practice with this. We'll start with Tuesday. Tuesday, introduce yourself to Angela.
Just that me llamo Tuesday?
So you would say, ¿Cómo te llamas?
Okay. ¿Cómo te llamas?
Angela, are you with us? It looks like you might have frozen up. Okay.
Angela.
Okay. And now you say Tuesday, mucho gusto.
Oh, mucho gusto. Sorry, I didn't hear her.
In Angela, you'll repeat igualmente.
Igualmente.
Okay. So now, Angela, to ask Chirag the first question.
¿Cómo te llamas?
Me llamo Chirag.
¿Cómo te llamas?
And so now, Angela, you're going to say mucho gusto.
Mucho gusto.
Igualmente.
All right. Great. So now we'll have Chirag go to Chris.
¿Cómo te llamas?
Me llamo Chris.
Mucho gusto, Chris.
Igualmente.
Perfect. Chris, go to Rhonda.
¿Cómo te llamas?
Me llamo Randa.
Mucho gusto.
Igualmente.
All right, ronda to Jacqueline.
¿Cómo te llamas?
Me llamo Jacqueline.
Mucho gusto.
Igualmente, Rhonda.
And now we can put Jacqueline to Tori.
¿Cómo te llamas, Tori?
Me llamo Tori.
I'm asking you your name. I just told you. Mucho gusto.
Igualmente.
Muy bien. All right, now Tori, go back to Tuesday.
¿Cómo te llamas?
Me llamo Tuesday.
Mucho gusto.
Igualmente.
Tuesday, I keep thinking every time that I hear your name. I had a student once named Wednesday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I'm getting all the days of the week here. All right, good job. Very good. So some other common conversation starters when you're introducing yourself to a new person in Spanish would be the following. So the first one, most common one you're probably going to hear is, where are you from? Everybody repeat after me. ¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
eres?
¿De dónde eres?
To say I am from, you're going to say soy de.
Soy de...
Soy de.
Mhm. So in my situation, I grew up in Georgia, so I'd say soy de Atlanta. Okay. The next one, you could ask somebody where they live now. ¿Dónde vives?
¿Dónde vives?
¿Dónde vives?
Muy bien.
¿Dónde vives?
Say I live,
¿Dónde vives?
say I live in, I would say vivo in Denver. Everybody repeat.
Vivo en Denver.
Muy bien. And then the last question here is, ¿dónde trabajas?
Where do you work?
Trabajo.
¿Dónde trabajas?
¿Dónde trabajas?
And this means, where do you live? So it really means, where do you live? It's not necessarily asking you what you do for work. So it would be perfectly acceptable, again, here just to answer like trabajo en Denver without specifying where you work.
Trabajo en Denver.
All right. Vamos a practicar. So we'll start with you, Tuesday, and ask Angela. And then you're just going to go through all three questions, okay?
Okay. ¿De dónde eres?
Soy de Washington.
¿Dónde vives?
Soy de
Ah.
Vivo en Washington.
Muy bien.
¿Dónde trabajas?
Trabajo en Washington.
Muy bien. Yeah, it's that simple. All right, good job, Angela. So now Angela to Chirag.
¿Dónde eres?
Soy de Chicago.
¿Dónde vives?
Vivo en Denver.
¿Dónde trabajas?
Trabajo en Denver también.
Perfecto. Chirag to Chris.
¿De dónde eres?
Chris,
Soy de
¿Dónde vives?
Vivo en Denver.
¿Y dónde trabajas?
Trabajo en Denver.
muy bien. Okay, Chris to Ronda.
¿Dónde eres?
Soy de Nueva York.
¿Dónde vives?
Vivo en Denver.
¿Dónde trabajas?
Trabajo en Denver.
All right, Ronda to Jacqueline.
Sí, Jacqueline, ¿de dónde eres?
Soy de Colorado.
¿Dónde vives?
Vive en Denver. No. Vive en Aurora.
Vivo.
Vivo, yes, vivo en Aurora.
¿Dónde trabajas?
Trabaja en Aurora.
Trabajo.
Oh, I keep saying ha.
That's okay.
Trabajo and Aurora.
Muy bien. All right. Jacqueline to Tori.
¿De dónde eres?
Soy de Colorado.
¿Dónde vives?
Vivo en Aurora.
¿Dónde trabajas?
Trabajo en Aurora.
Okay, muy bien. Tori, back to Tuesday.
Tuesday, ¿de dónde eres?
Soy de Arkansas.
¿Dónde vives?
Vive en Commerce City.
Vivo.
Vivo en Commerce City.
¿Dónde trabajas?
Trabajo in Castle Rock.
Okay, maravilloso. So now you know how to introduce yourself to somebody in Spanish and answer some of the most commonly asked questions. Moving on along, my absolute favorite thing to talk about when I first meet people in really any language is what do you like? ¿Qué te gusta? Everybody repeat. ¿Qué te gusta?
¿Qué te gusta?
And a good way to answer that would be to say, me gusta.
Gusta.
Me gusta.
Me gusta.
So then you're just going to follow that by whatever it is you like. So, ¿qué te gusta means what do you like? Me gusta means I like. So I've got some really common examples for you up here. So the first column is comida. Who knows what comida means?
Food.
Oh yeah, I love talking about food when I meet people. So this should be pretty straightforward. If you have any questions, let me know. La comida china.
La comida china.
La comida italiana.
La comida
La comida
italiana.
La comida mexicana.
La comida mexicana.
La comida cubana.
La comida cubana.
Okay, next column we have bebidas. Bebidas.
Vidas.
So bebidas means
Bebidas.
drinks. We've got some of the more common ones here. La cerveza.
La
La cerveza.
So that means beer. El vino.
El vino.
El vino.
El vino.
That means wine. El tequila.
El tequila.
El tequila.
That one should be straightforward. The last one, el mojito.
El
El
mojito.
mojito.
Does everybody know what a mojito is?
Mhm.
Yeah. Rhonda, you say no? So a mojito, it's a very popular drink in the Caribbean, especially in like Puerto Rico and Cuba. It's a rum drink that's made with rum, mint, club soda, and sugar. Really good. Okay, next round we have deportes.
Deportes.
Deportes means sports. Okay, deportes. So the first one, el fútbol.
El fútbol.
All right. This does not mean the Denver Broncos. This means the Colorado
Soccer.
Rapids. Okay. Football in Spanish means soccer. If you want to specify the Denver Broncos, you would say el fútbol americano.
El fútbol.
El fútbol americano.
Muy bien. El baloncesto.
El
El
baloncesto.
El baloncesto.
So that's going to be basketball. And then the last one you should be able to guess, el béisbol.
El béisbol.
Muy bien. The final column is actividades, activities, actividades.
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 So the first one we have estudiar.
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 That means
Estudiar.
to study. Next we have cocinar.
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 So that means to cook. Bailar.
Bailar.
Bailar. Today.
My favorite, that's to dance.
Mhm.
And then if you live in Colorado, you probably want to talk to somebody about esquiar.
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 That means to ski. Okay. All right. So this time, let's start off with Angela, just to switch it up a little bit. Angela asked Chirag the first one. ¿Qué te gusta?
¿Qué te gusta?
Me
¿Qué te
gusta.
gusta?
Me gusta. ¿Todo comida?
Toda la comida? Okay.
All the
All of
food.
the food.
Y me gusta el vino. Y me gusta el béisbol. Y me gusta cocinar.
Perfecto. All right, Chirag to Chris.
Chris, ¿qué te gusta?
Me gusta la comida mexicana. Me gusta vino. Me gusta well, I can say it. Football. Me gusta Pilar.
Muy bien. All right, so now Chris asks Ronda.
¿Qué te gusta? Rhonda, ¿qué te gusta?
Sorry, I was on mute.
Oh.
Me gusta la comida china y bebida, me gusta refrescos y
Refrescos, muy bien, muy bien.
me gusta el baloncesto y me gusta cocinar.
Perfecto. Ronda, Jacqueline.
Jacqueline, ¿qué te gusta?
Me gusta la comida mexicana, el vino, and el fútbol y cocinar.
Muy bien. Real quick, just on the pronunciation here, because I've heard a couple of people say it. It's not Mexicana, it's Mexicana. Mexicana.
La comida mexicana.
Muy bien. All right, Jacqueline to Tori.
Tori, ¿qué te gusta?
Me gusta la comida mexicana. Y me gusta bebidos, el tequila, y me gusta deportes. Actually, no me gusta deportes.
Muy bien.
Y actividades, me gusta bailar.
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 Muy bien. Bien, gracias, Tori. Okay, so let's go, Tori, to Tuesday.
Tuesday, ¿qué te gusta?
Me gusta la comida china y mexicana. No bebo. No me gusta deportes. Me gusta bailar.
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 All right, last one, Tuesday to Angela.
Okay. ¿Qué te gusta?
Me gusta la comida china y la comida mexicana. Me gusta mojito y el fútbol americano y cocinar.
Maravilloso. Muy bien. We can talk with just a little bit more detail by adding just one word to this question. ¿Qué te gusta hacer? Hacer means to do. So specifically here, we're saying, what do you like to do? Everybody repeat. ¿Qué te gusta hacer?
¿Qué te gusta hacer?
Good. So on this round, you're always going to answer with some type of activity. And then I've just on the right side, I've added some things that you can connect those activities to. So the first one is preparar. Everybody repeat. Preparar.
Preparar.
Okay, so preparar can be, it means to prepare. You can use that to talk about comida or bebidas, okay? Cocinar is to cook, so we can use that to talk about comida. And then the last two can be used to talk about sport. So one is practicar, which means to play or to practice a sport. And then mirar, like, so for example, a mí me gusta practicar baloncesto y mirar baseball. So I like to practice basketball, but I like to watch baseball. Okay? So now let's practice with this. We'll start with you, Chirag. Pregúntale a Chris número 1.
Chris, ¿qué te gusta hacer?
Chris, are you with us?
Can you pronounce, is it concar? To
I'm sorry?
cook? Can you pronounce that again?
Sí. Cocinar.
Cocinar.
Muy
Okay. Me gusta cocinar la comida mexicana.
Muy
Bien.
bien.
Okay, so now Chris, do ronda.
¿Qué te gusta hacer? Rhonda, ¿qué te
Sí.
gusta hacer?
Me gusta, let's see. Me gusta practicar el fútbol.
Okay, so now ronda to Jacqueline.
Jacqueline, ¿qué te gusta hacer?
Me gusta preparar la margarita.
Muy bien. All right, Jacqueline to Tori.
Tori, ¿qué te gusta hacer?
Cocinar la comida mexicana.
Okay, sorry about that. All right, now Tori to Tuesday.
Tuesday, ¿qué te gusta hacer?
Me gusta preparar la comida mexicana.
All right.
¿Qué te gusta hacer?
Hacer.
Hacer.
And you're asking Angela.
Ángela, ¿qué te gusta hacer?
Me gusta preparar la cocina italiana.
Muy bien. All right, last one, Angela to Shirad.
Gerard, ¿qué te gusta hacer?
Me gusta preparar el mojito.
Muy bien. Okay, all right, moving on along. Does anybody know what this question means in Spanish? ¿Puedo hacer una pregunta?
Do you have a question?
Do you have a question? Or can I ask a question?
Ask
Yeah, directly. Can I ask a question? Everybody repeat with me. ¿Puedo hacer una pregunta?
¿Puedo hacer una pregunta?
Una pregunta.
Perfecto. So I said at the beginning of the class that questions are good. So when you're in Spanish class with me, just to be extra polite, you can always ask me this to start off. ¿Puedo hacer una pregunta?
Puedo
Okay.
hacer una pregunta.
Muy bien. All right. What about this one? ¿Cómo se dice student?
How do you
How
say?
do you say
How do you say
student?
student?
Perfecto. Okay, so everybody repeat with me. ¿Cómo se dice student?
¿Cómo
¿Cómo
se
se dice
dice
student?
Yeah.
student?
This
Estudiante.
Why is it in puedo una pregunta?
¿Puedo hacer una pregunta? Claro que sí, Tori. Muy bien.
Why does it say student and not estudiant
Yeah, good question.
like in
So-
Espanol?
Yeah, so this is a really helpful question for all Spanish students, honestly, regardless of your level. So this is like if you're with me, your teacher, or anybody else that's bilingual, and you're trying to say something and you just don't know how to say a word in Spanish, you would ask the person along with the word in English that you're trying to learn how to say.
Okay.
So it's literally, supposedly you don't know how to say estudiante, and so you're trying to learn how to say that new word.
Okay.
Cool. All right, let's practice with this. So we'll start with you this time, Chris. I want you to ask me, ¿puedo hacer una pregunta? I'm going to say sí, and then you'll ask me number one, okay? And we're just gonna go around the virtual room one by one with these questions, okay? Go ahead, Chris.
Okay. ¿Puedo hacer una pregunta?
Sí.
¿Cómo se dice computer?
Se dice computadora.
Computadora.
Yeah, and if everybody wants to repeat the word, feel free to do so. All right.
Computadora.
Número 2, ronda.
¿Cómo se dice office?
So ask the first question. ¿Puedo hacer?
Oh, sorry. ¿Puedo hacer una pregunta?
Sí.
¿Cómo se dice office?
Se dice oficina.
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 Muy bien. Número 3, Jacqueline.
¿Puedes hacer una pregunta?
Almost. The first word is going to be puedo.
Puedo.
Puedo. Muy bien. Try.
Puedo hacer una pregunta.
Sí.
Okay. ¿Cómo se dice oficina? Wait, how do we say it?
I think we're on number 3 now, right?
Oh, 3. ¿Cómo se dice? Oh, how do I say paper?
But say the question. ¿Cómo se dice?
Oh, okay. ¿Cómo se dice paper?
Se dice papel.
Oh,
Papel.
papel.
Muy bien. 4, Tori.
¿Puedo hacer una pregunta?
Sí.
¿Cómo se dice employee?
Se dice empleado.
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 Okay. Tuesday.
¿Puedo hacer una pregunta?
Sí.
¿Cómo se dice director?
Se dice director.
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 Muy bien.
Director.
6, Ángela. 6.
¿Puedo hacer una pregunta?
Sí.
¿Cómo se dice student?
Se dice estudiante.
Estudiante.
Muy bien. 7, Shirad.
¿Puedo hacer una pregunta?
Sí.
¿Cómo se dice conference room?
Se dice salón de conferencia.
Salón de conferencia.
Muy bien.
Salón conferencia.
All right. Last one here. We're going to go back to Chris. Número 8.
¿Puedo hacer una pregunta?
Sí.
¿Cómo se dice classroom?
Se dice salón de clase.
Salón de clase.
Muy bien. All right, I've got one more really important question to teach you for learning Spanish with confidence. ¿Qué significa estudiante? What do you think this question means?
How important is
How's
studying?
important? Yeah.
What? Sorry, I had like 3 people say it at the same time.
Oh.
How important is studying?
Yeah, so it's not exactly how do you say, it's the reverse of how do you say. This is now you're going to ask with the question in Spanish if you don't understand what the word is saying. So this is just the opposite of how do you say, it's what does the word mean. So everybody repeat with me. ¿Qué significa estudiante?
¿Qué significa estudiante?
So the verb here is significar, and that is the verb to mean. So I like to think of it like to draw the Latin root from the verb. What is the significance of this word? It's like saying, what does this word mean? Okay? Okay, vamos a comenzar con ronda. So same thing this time, ronda. Ask me, ¿puedo hacer una pregunta? Te digo que sí. And then number 1. Okay?
Sí. ¿Puedo hacer una pregunta?
Sí.
¿Qué significa computadora?
Significa computer. Okay, Jacqueline, número 2.
¿Puedo hacer una pregunta?
Sí.
¿Qué significa? Do I say qué significa?
Yep.
Okay. ¿Qué significa oficina?
Oficina significa office. Okay, Tori.
Sí. ¿Puedo hacer una pregunta?
Sí.
¿Qué significa papel?
Papel significa paper. Okay.
Empleado.
Tuesday?
Okay. ¿Puedo hacer una pregunta?
Sí.
¿Qué significa empleado?
Empleado significa employee. Okay. Angela?
¿Puedo hacer una pregunta?
Sí.
¿Qué significa director?
Director significa director. Gerard?
¿Puedo hacer una pregunta?
Sí.
¿Qué significa estudiante?
Estudiante significa student.
Gracias.
Chris?
¿Puedo hacer una pregunta?
Sí.
¿Qué significa salón de conferencia?
Salón de conferencia significa conference room. Okay. Last one, Ronda.
¿Puedo hacer una pregunta?
Sí.
¿Qué significa salón de clase?
Salón de clase significa classroom. Okay, muy bien. So we've learned 3 really important questions that you can use here in the Spanish classroom with me. Number 1, ¿puedo hacer una pregunta? So what does this mean?
Ask
Can
a
I
question.
ask a
Can I
question?
ask a question?
Very good. ¿Cómo se dice student? What does this question mean?
How do you
How
say
do
do
you
I
say
say?
student?
And then the last one, ¿qué significa estudiante?
What is
What
student
does it
mean?
mean?
Nice, you got it. Very good. Okay, so cognados are they're a type of word that exist in 2 or more languages that were essentially born from another language that they have in common. So our modern day system of banking comes from the Roman times. I think it was the Medici family kind of created the system of banking. So like if you've ever seen one of those movies where it's about the Roman Empire, you know, you've probably seen like big open air markets where people go into, you know, and they buy stuff and everybody's yelling and doing all this crazy stuff. So the word banca was the original word for bank, and that is also the same word for bench. So the reason why is there would be somebody that would be sitting on a little bitty bench in the middle of the market, and he had a couple of the Roman soldiers with him that were guarding him, and this person would hang on to money for people so people didn't have to walk around with a lot of money on them to go into these markets and buy stuff, and they would keep a little note. So that word banca, which meant bench, spread all across Europe, and so the Romans that were kind of speaking Italian at that time went up to Spain, and the word changed over to banco, which was the Spanish word for bench. And then when it eventually crossed the English Channel over to England, the word changed into bank. Okay, so these words, banca, banco, bank, they all look and sound very similar. Spanish and English both have, Spanish is pretty much a direct descendant of Latin, and English I think has like 30, maybe 40% of its words influenced by Latin as well. So right off the bat, you know, Spanish has the pretty much the same alphabet as English. We've got 5 pronunciation sounds, a, e, I, o, u, and then on top of it, we've got these cognates. So almost 30, maybe 40% of Spanish and English looks very similar to each other. So if you don't believe me, let's just take a look at this, okay? Let's start this time with you, Jacqueline. Repite, actor.
Actor.
Actor. ¿Qué significa actor?
Actor.
So what does that mean, do you think, Jacqueline? ¿Qué significa actor?
Wait, that's new, Las Cognados. I don't know. What are you saying? Like how to say it or repeat?
Yeah, so I'm just asking you what it means. What does this word
like
actor mean in English?
A persona on TV.
A person on TV. Yeah, so I'm just looking for the English word here, right? Actor. It's the exact same word. It's just a little differently pronounced in Spanish, right? Okay, let's go with you, Tori. Repite, chocolate.
Chocolate.
Yeah, so that's what it means. Yeah, chocolate. Yeah, so the same word. Okay, Tuesday. Repite, director.
Director.
¿Qué significa director?
Director.
Yep. Ángela, repite, final.
Final.
¿Qué significa final?
¿Qué significa final?
So that means final. Okay. Shirag, repite, hotel.
Hotel.
¿Qué significa?
Hotel significa hotel.
Yep. Ronda, mango. Oh, Ronda, did we lose you? Okay, Chris, repite, mango.
Mango.
¿Y qué significa mango?
Mango.
Perfecto. Repite, Jacqueline, repite, normal.
Normal.
¿Qué significa normal?
Normal.
It's normal, very good. Tori, pasta.
Pasta.
Yeah, it's the exact same word. Tuesday, repite, simple.
Simple.
¿Y qué significa simple?
Simple.
Yeah. So these words are called cognates. These are direct cognates that are literally the same spelling. The only thing that changes is the pronunciation. There's other words that have a lot of similarities that might have a different spelling, but sounds almost the same. So because of that reason, I think Spanish is a language that everybody is 100% capable of learning how to speak if you want to. And it's not going to be as hard as you might imagine. Okay. We're almost at the end of class. We're just going to wrap up with a little bit of vocabulario, new vocabulary. And this vocabulary that I teach is just vocabulary that you can use at both school and at work so that we can matar dos pájaros de un tiro, kill two birds with one stone. Okay? Repiten, cosas.
Cosas.
So cosas means things, okay? Things. Repiten, computadora.
Computadora.
Impresora.
Impresora.
So that's just computer and then printer. Televisión.
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 Proyector.
Proyector.
So TV and projector. Marcador.
Marcador.
Papel.
Papel.
So that's going to be the marker and the paper. Okay, now we have lugares.
Lugar.
Lugares. So lugares are going to be places. Lugares. Repiten. Salón de conferencia.
Salón de
conferencia.
Salón de clase.
Salón de clase.
So that's our conference room and our classroom. Oficina.
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 Escuela.
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 So office and school.
Escuela.
Finally, we have personas.
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 And this is going to be our people, okay? Profesora.
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 Estudiante.
Estudiante.
So professor or teacher and student. Director.
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 Empleado.
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 So our director and our employee or boss and employee, okay? So when it comes to learning how to speak a new language, vocabulary is the key to it. Learning new words is what's ultimately going to help you understand what people are saying and help you start speaking. So just to put that into perspective for you, I'm not a huge fan of teaching grammar, at least not initially. I love grammar. I'm a super big grammar geek myself, but I think when it comes to initially starting learning how to speak a new language. Words are what's going to help you do that. So I always encourage my students to spend the majority of their time for the first like 2 to 3 months studying new vocabulary. And I'm just going to show you this tool that I really love for studying vocabulary. It's called Quizlet. And if I can share my other screen with you, give me 1 second. Okay, so you should be able to see my screen now. Does everybody see this that says Let's Start Talking Spanish Foundations 1?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a web application. It's completely free to use, and all my students will get access to our Quizlet words that we have here. And this is all of the vocabulary that you would need to use that we teach in this very first lesson here. So I can just kind of show you how this works here. But like if we come down here to the El Salón de Clase de Español, I'm gonna click on that. And we can start off with the flashcards. So you know, I think if you're studying with flashcards like this, it's going to help you. But there's also a better way to do it. And so just looking at the language acquisition process, when it comes to learning how to speak a new language, you actually have to start by learning how to understand the new language. So when I'm doing flashcards, and what I encourage you to do is to always start with the side in Spanish, so that you first learn how to understand what the word means, okay? So I'm gonna maximize this here, and let me see here. You can click on the options here to change the side. So you wanna answer with English to start off. And if you want to, you can click on the sound button, and this is gonna help you with your pronunciation.
Cosas.
Could everybody hear that?
Yep.
Yeah. So this is a really cool application because I just love the way that it works, okay? So if you know what cosas means, you can say it out loud, and then you can just click on it and it flips over and it tells you what it means, okay? If for whatever reason you don't get the word right, you click on this little star up here, and then that'll create a new list that you can go back and review. So if you get it right, you can just click next, and now we have lápiz, which means pencil. And if you wanted to hear it,
Lápiz.
you go through it like that.
Libro.
Book, etc. So I just wanted to kind of show you how this application works. Most of your time, if you decide to sign up with Spanish classes with me, I would strongly encourage you to get on here and start going through these little flashcard sets that I've created. And then there's some other little games that you can play with this app too. They've got this learn feature, which is going to like kind of create these multiple choice options, and then it takes you through the cycle. It eventually asks you to spell the words and stuff like that. So you're getting the comprehension, the listening, the pronunciation, the spelling, everything like that. Once you have your words memorized, then I also give you homework to do, and it's just going to make the homework really easy to do if you start by memorizing that vocabulary. So that is Quizlet, and that's my advice for learning how to memorize new vocabulary words. Any questions on that? Cool, it's pretty straightforward. All right, so we're pretty much done with class. I just want to go back to the introduction that we learned how to do today, okay? So why don't we start this time with Tori? And these are all the questions that I taught you in the first like 10 slides or something like that. I kind of broke them into different slides, but this would be like a very natural, free-flowing conversation. For the next time that you hear somebody speaking Spanish, you can go up and try and introduce yourself to them. So we'll start with Tori. Tori asked all of these questions to Tuesday, okay?
Okay. Tuesday, hola, ¿cómo estás?
I think you're muted, Tuesday.
My dogs were barking, sorry. Hola, estoy bien.
Bien, me llamo, Me llamo Tori. ¿Cómo te llamas?
Me llamo Tuesday.
Mucho gusto.
Igualmente. Igualmente.
¿De dónde eres?
Soy de Arkansas.
¿Dónde vives?
Vivo en Commerce City.
¿Dónde trabajas?
Trabajo en Castle Rock.
¿Y qué te gusta?
Me gusta comida.
Perfect. You got it. You got it, Tuesday. All right. Tuesday to Angela.
Ángela, hola, ¿cómo estás?
Hola, estoy muy bien.
Me llamo Tuesday, ¿cómo te llamas?
Me llamo Ángela.
Mucho gusto.
Igualmente.
¿De dónde eres?
Soy de Washington, D.C.
¿De dónde vives?
Vives en Washington, D.C. también.
¿Dónde trabajas?
Trabajo en Washington, D.C.
¿Qué te gusta?
Me gusta la cocina mexicana.
Ok, muy bien. Ahora Angela to Chirag.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Hola, estoy muy bien.
Me llamo Ángela. ¿Cómo te llamas?
Me llamo Chirag.
Mucho gusto.
Igualmente, Angela.
¿De dónde eres?
Soy de Chicago.
¿Dónde vives?
Vivo en Denver.
¿Dónde trabajas?
Trabajo en Denver también.
¿Y qué te gusta? ¿Qué
Me gusta beber el vino.
Ok, muy bien. Ahora Chirag to Chris.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Hola, estoy bien.
Me llamo Chirag. ¿Cómo te llamas?
Me llamo Chris.
Mucho gusto.
Igualmente.
¿De dónde eres?
Soy de Denver.
¿Y dónde vives?
Vivo en Denver.
Bien, ¿y dónde trabajas?
Trabajo en Denver.
Bien, ¿qué te gusta, Chris?
Me gusta comida, es todo, everything.
Bien.
Okay, Chris, Jacqueline.
Jacqueline. Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Hola, estoy bien.
Me llamo Chris. ¿Cómo te llamo?
Me llamo Jacqueline.
Mucho gusto.
Igualmente.
¿De dónde eres?
Soy de Colorado.
¿Dónde vives?
Vivo en Aurora.
¿Dónde trabajas?
Trabajo en Aurora.
¿Qué te gusta?
Me gusta el vino.
Gracias.
All right, last one, Jacqueline to Tori.
Hola, ¿cómo está?
Hola, estoy bien.
Me llamo Jacqueline. ¿Cómo te llamas?
Me llamo Tori.
Mucho gusto.
Igualmente,
¿De dónde eres?
soy de Colorado.
Ah, ¿dónde vives?
Vivo en Aurora.
¿Dónde trabaja?
Trabajo en Aurora.
¿En qué te gusta?
Me gusta la comida china.
Sí, sí.
Okay, muy bien. Okay, perfecto. Pretty good for our first Spanish lesson. So after you meet somebody, of course, you want to know how to say goodbye. So if you want to say, let's stay in touch, in Spanish, you would say, estamos en contacto. Repiten, estamos en contacto.
Estamos en contacto.
Muy bien. Now to say sounds good, in Spanish, you would say, me parece bien.
Me parece bien.
Hasta luego.
Hasta luego.
Hasta luego.
Hasta luego.
So that's just like saying until later, and then you can respond, nos vemos.
Nos vemos.
Nos vemos.
Perfecto, muy bien. Nice. So that's going to end the lesson today. How did everybody do with that?
Muy bien.
It's
Yeah.
good. Very
Yeah, that's fun.
Does anybody have any questions for me about anything that we learned today, or something that you wish we had learned today that we did not?
I thought it was this is Jacqueline. I thought it was a great introduction.
Okay,
Mhm.
perfect, Jacqueline. Great.
Yes.
So now I'm just going to switch gears a little bit and put my enrollment hat on. This is obviously just the tip of the iceberg. This is the very first lesson of our very first course. There are, let's see here, I think 10 official lessons for this very first level. And then there's a final review and then a final exam. Typically, we work with our students with really small group classes. I limit participation to 8 students, and most of our online classes have been even smaller with like 4 or 5 students in it. So the whole purpose of this very first level of Spanish is really to teach you how to start talking Spanish. It takes approximately 3 months to get through, and I'm really trying to prepare you to have very basic, simple, introductory level conversations with people that you work with, people out in your community, and also for travel. By the end of the course, you should be able to introduce yourself quite comfortably. And then to make small talk with people, you know, talk about things that people like to do for fun, their day-to-day activities, their work, that sort of thing. And then also thinking, like, if you're to get on a plane and go down to Mexico, you're going to need to know how to order food in restaurants and, you know, make simple purchases, buy a bottle of water. You know, if you're like me, you probably forgot to pack a belt or something like that, so you'll need to run out and buy something like that. And then as I mentioned at the beginning of class today too, I'm big on teaching the cultural differences so that not only can you speak Spanish, but you know what's acceptable to do culturally. We are on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, so I always invite my students to connect with us there. And then finally, if you have never heard of the language school before, people really love studying with us because of this conversational methodology that I've created. I'm just like you. I learned how to speak Spanish as an adult. This was 20 years ago, and I did everything to learn how to speak Spanish. Back at that time, they didn't have these kind of immersion conversational style classes here in the United States. So I was limited to my high school Spanish class, my college Spanish class, and then getting on a plane and moving to Latin America, which I've actually lived in 4 different Spanish speaking countries, 5 if you include the United States, because the United States really is kind of turning. There's more Spanish speakers in the United States than there are in Spain, to put that, if you think about that. So I think, you know, you can take a look at our reviews. We're on Google, Yelp, Amazon, Facebook, we're all over the place. And for the most part, we have 5-star reviews. And the reason is because we work with small classes, because we really teach people how to start speaking Spanish. And I've been teaching English since 2001 and Spanish since 2005. I've got a lot of experience doing this. And my philosophy is all about making it conversational, fun, and enjoyable. So I think our reviews online are a definite reflection of that. If you want to study with us, it is going to cost you a little bit of money, but I'm going to get you results pretty quickly. It typically costs $300 per month to join our classes. And I've got a special offer for you today. If you sign up and pay for 2 months for $600, I will give you the 3rd month for free. Here's the link to where you can register. I've got the process spelled out for you online. I'm going to put this into the chat box now if I can find it. You know, I would love nothing more than to help you with this goal of learning how to speak Spanish fluently. It has changed my life completely. You know, I have been on adventures that you just would not imagine. You know, I've traveled all the way down to the southern tip of South America. I've lived in Spain and Argentina, in Ecuador and Chile. I've gone snowboarding in the Andes in July. I have drenched myself in waterfalls at Iguazu Falls, which is like way bigger than Niagara Falls. Do you know it, Tuesday?
That's where I want to go. Me and my boyfriend want to go there really bad. So.
Oh, you have to go. For me,
yeah.
You know, you grow up here in the United States and you hear about Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls is nothing compared to Iguazu Falls.
Oh, it looks amazing. Yeah.
On top of it, you know, professionally, I have been doing, you know, I've done sales in Latin America for corporate software companies and made a lot of money doing that. And over the past 8 years, I've been full-time doing the language school where I teach Spanish, I teach English, and I manage a multicultural workforce. I have employees from Venezuela, from Cuba, from Peru, from all over the place. It's opened up a ton of opportunities for me professionally. You know, I think, Angela, you're the only one that doesn't live here in Colorado, but it doesn't matter. Washington, D.C. is the same thing. My mom used to live right at 14th and P Street. And just walking 2 blocks over, like away from downtown, and you are pretty much in El Salvador. Like, you know, Washington, D.C. has a huge Spanish-speaking population. If you live here in Denver, this is something people don't really think about because we're in the United States. Only 50% of the population of Denver speaks English as their first language. 30% of the population speaks Spanish as their first language. So with Spanish and English, you can talk to 80% of the community now. So it will help you. Let's see here. I think that is all I had to say. So I do have a new Spanish class that's going to be starting a week from today. We're going to meet weekly on Wednesdays from 9 o'clock in the morning to 10:30. That's exactly why I chose this time. So if you're free now, hopefully that means you're typically free on Wednesdays. I've only got 1 student signed up for the class. I would love the opportunity to work with you and teach you how to speak Spanish. So if you are interested in joining some classes with me, you can sign up on our website by following that link that's in the chat button. Oops, I just put that to you, Angela. Let me put that to the entire group. All panelists, there we go. Okay, so now you should have access to that. Claro que sí, Chirag.
Do you have any classes that you're planning in the evening at all?
Yeah, good question. So the way I typically work with students is when somebody signs up for I wait to start a new class until somebody signs up for a class because I never know exactly what people are into. So if you want, and then I need at least 3 to 4 weeks to make that class start. Right now I'm starting this new, we always start classes the first week of the month. So we've got this new class starting in August. I think we also have a time slot available on Wednesdays from, I have to check my schedule. I can't remember if it's 5:30 to 7 or 7 to 8:30, but I do have an open time slot. So we can start that. I would just need somebody to sign up for it to make it official, and then we could start that the first week of September to give us the.
And that would be Wednesdays, you said?
That would be on Wednesdays, yeah. I know I do have availability from 7 to 8:30 on Wednesday evenings currently, so I could definitely make that happen for you.
Sweet.
So the process, if you click on that link, it'll take you to the section of our website that explains. It's just 3 simple steps. The first step is to click on the link to our student rules and policies and just read through. It's just basic stuff saying, hey, you've got to come to class and come to class on time and do your homework. And then there's an application just to fill out with your contact information and a little bit more information about yourself and why you're wanting to learn Spanish. That will then take you to another page where you can pay for your classes. You choose the option that works best for you. And then once I see the payment come through, I reach out to you and we get you enrolled officially into the right class, okay? There were a couple of people on here that sounded like they have a little bit of Spanish experience. So if you felt like this was way too easy for you, we can always do an evaluation for you to help place you into the right class. This was just scheduled to get people started. But if you have a little bit of background, I'm more than happy to do that evaluation for you. Let's see here. Goodness, it was great to meet everybody. Does anybody have any questions or comments for me before we finish things today?
It was a great session, but I got to check out. So thank you very much for everything.
Cool.
That's great.
Yeah, thank you.
Just to tell you, there are a couple of extra things. If you can wait just 2 more seconds, Shirag. So when you sign up for the class, you get the access to the weekly Zoom session. We're doing everything online while this virus is still going on. You also, I do 2 free practices for my students as well that you're also welcome to join us for. One of them is on Wednesday from 3 to 4, where I do tutoring and homework help. And then the other one is on Friday from 10 to 11 in the morning. And that's just a straight language exchange. I teach both Spanish and English. And because of that, I take advantage of it by hosting these weekly practices where you will also get to meet native Spanish speakers that are learning English, because ultimately I want you to have a conversation partner. Studying Spanish is only a small part of it. You have to somehow figure out a way to practice it on a day-to-day basis, you know, and find, you know, not only am I going to teach you the language, I'm also going to introduce you to people that you can practice with. And it's just the best way to find somebody that's learning English that you can practice Spanish with, and you can also help that person practice English. And we do that 2 times a week, ultimately hoping that you will make a connection with somebody that you can then, you know, establish, you know, other times to meet up, have coffee, and practice your languages. There is homework. You should plan on doing at least an hour's worth of homework between classes. And we have all of the homework available in a new web application that we've created. The web application is great because I've recorded live classes with my students from the very first level. So you can actually get in there and watch the videos of the classes, do the activities. It's not like Duolingo, it's real practical activities. It sends me a notice that you've done your homework, and then I go in and I correct it and I give you advice of, you know, if you're making mistakes, I tell you what to look out for, how to fix it. And so that's a really cool thing too, because that's completely on demand. You don't have to wait for class. You can just study and get ahead and watch those videos and stuff like that. We also give you access to a student-only group that we have on Facebook. You have to be a student to be part of the group. And that's another route for you to try and make friends with native Spanish speakers so that you have somebody to practice with. So, you know, sometimes the price seems like it might be just a little bit high, but I give you a whole lot for it. And I think the most important thing to let you know is the fact that I am really confident with this program. I've been doing it for a long time. My students learn how to speak Spanish. So if you've ever studied Spanish and walked away from a class feeling like, oh gosh, I really don't feel like I can speak it, I am going to teach you how to speak it. And I can do it, you know, in the first 3 months, you'll be surprised at how conversational you'll be after those first 3 months with me.
Thank you.
All right. All right.
Thank
Cool.
you.
Nice to meet everybody. Mucho
Nice to
gusto.
meet you.
Ciao,
Thank
ciao.
you.
Mucho
Hasta luego.
Nos vemos.